Good morning. Morning of day 36. Beautiful morning. No hat, no fleece. Gorgeous. So today we hit the Rowan Highlands. Rowan Mountain being the main peak, but there's a few minor peaks as well. Got out early. It's going to be a warm one, so I've got a 5-mile climb up to the top of Rowan Mountain and try and get that done while it's still coolish, and then enjoy the rest of the day. We'll probably be camping up there at some point, and the plan is to come down tomorrow morning and stay at the station at 19E. So let's go. About an hour in, there's a view of the peak. Just got to a viewpoint, only about halfway up at the moment, so I think the views from the top should be pretty amazing. As you're going up Rowan Mountain, it suddenly flattens off, and there's some really nice tent sites here, but there's also a water source. Apparently this is the last water this side of the mountain, so I need to go down, but they say it's a bit steep, so take your trekking poles. So trekking poles and water bag in hand, let's go. It's like a deer's been down here in the night. Wow, they weren't kidding about it being steep. It's probably the steepest climb I've done all day. But at least the water is running. Alright, got my water, having a protein bar. I've been awake now for 3 hours and I haven't seen a soul. Feels like I've got the mountain to myself. So nice. Well, I haven't, because I passed 3 tents on the way up here. Right, get the rest of this climb done. Pretty close to the top now. I've been up for 4 hours now and still not seen anyone. As the zombie apocalypse happened during the night and I'm the last one. I mean, it's beautiful hiking, I love it, but it's very odd, especially after the first few weeks on trail where there were so many of us. So at the top, AT goes down that way, but over here, this is the site of a old resort, the Cloudlands Resort. It was built in the 19th century, and the idea was that all the well-to-do from the area would come up here in the summer and enjoy the cool mountain air. It was quite something. I'll see if I can find a picture online. Sort of imagine the hotel where The Shining was filmed. Although that resort still exists and is in the Sierras, and if you do the Pacific Crest Trail, you actually walk past it. There's actually very little left of the resort considering of how big it was. Just a few foundations. Here we are out onto the summit. Here's an information board. Perfect timing. And you can see just down there there's an old wall or something. Unfortunately, this board's not very clear. It's quite scratched up. Apparently the hotel straddled the Tennessee-North Carolina state line, and there was a line painted down the middle of the dining room, including down the middle of the banqueting table, to show guests where they could legally drink, because alcohol was legal in Tennessee but not in North Carolina. Visitors car park. Oh, toilet block. Do I need it? But there's no one here. What day is it? It's Tuesday. I can understand it being quiet, but this is really weird. So I got totally distracted by that information board and then the path down to the car park, and must have walked off the AT by about 0.1 of a mile, but I found my way back, and now going down the hill. But yeah, that car park, and 10:30 it is. Still not a soul. Here's some of the ruins, an old chimney stack. There's the turn off for the shelter. Let's go and have a look. And here we are at Rowan Mountain shelter, highest shelter on the AT. It's at 6,200 feet, and it's a proper cabin because it gets so cold up here. In Clingman's Dome was 6,600 feet, so we're pretty high. Let's take you up into the loft. You can see there's a few places you can sleep up here. Back down onto the AT. That's a bit of a climb to get up there. I definitely wanted to go up and take a look. I don't think any of the other shelters are quite like that. And of course there was no one there. So we're heading down to Carver's Gap now, I think. So headed down to Carver's Gap, and then we've got three little peaks, quick succession. There's Round Bald, Jane Bald, and Grassy Knob Bald, I think. So I'll probably have lunch on one of those. They all come up in the next 3 miles. So it's just up, down, up, down. Usual AT fare. This is a very well maintained bit of trail. Bridges everywhere. That's funny, there's water that way, and yet I'm crossing over water. Made it down to Carver's Gap. Lots of empty cars. Here's an interesting map. I started just before Hughes Gap. I've been up to Cloudland, Rowan High Knob, now down at Carver's Gap, and then this is what I've got to look forward to. Ups and downs, ups and downs. Over Mountain Shelter, that's interesting. We'll stop there and then carrying on. That's almost my day. And 5.5 hours after getting up this morning, finally see some people. How weird's that? That was funny. All those school kids wanted to know if I was a thru-hiker. I think they were a bit puzzled by my accent. So there's a look back at Rowan Mountain, just come down off of that, and there's Carver's Gap. This is a nice path, but clearly it's a touristy spot. Just got some trail magic. I think it was the teacher of all the kids I've been passing. Give me some crackers to have with my lunch. That was very nice. There's a lot of people climbing up here, so I'm assuming there might be picnic tables up here. So I think if there are, this might be my lunch spot. That's a shame, no tables. And it's a little bit windy, so I'm just going to go down the other side. But just got my second bit of trail magic, got an apple. Today's turning out to be a great day. You can see the route up to the next peak. So we're going up there, but I'm definitely going to find a spot for lunch first. Welcome to my epic lunch spot for today. It's pretty good. So we went over Round Bald, had lunch on Jane Bald, ended up talking to the lady who gave me the apple. She's a previous thru-hiker from 2016, Wild Course. So had a little chat with her for a while, that was interesting. Now we're going up the next one, which is Grassy Ridge Bald, and we go up there as you can see. So this stretch of peaks together is known as the Rowan Highlands, Rowan Mountain, and then these following balds, and it's quite a touristy area, but it is very pretty. I can see why. It's unusual to be out in the open for so long. So just leaving the Stan Murray shelter. It's a fairly new one, and I think that it's been put in because the one we're going to next, which is only 1.9 miles away, isn't classed as a shelter anymore. The structure's been condemned, so you're allowed to camp there, but they don't want you sleeping in it. But we're going to visit it anyway because it's a bit of an icon on the AT, and I'll show you why when we get there. This is Yellow Mountain Gap. AT goes that way, but the Over Mountain shelters point to this way, and I've always wanted to visit this, so off we go. And here's our first view of Over Mountain shelter. Like I said before, it's not in use anymore, but it is a tent site, and the views from here in the morning are spectacular. It's not like any other shelter on the AT, and its more common name is the Red Barn, and you can see why. Little bit of story time with flags. This is called Over Mountain Shelter because the gap we've just came through was used by local militia during the Revolutionary War, where they marched over the mountain in snow to go on to defeat the British at King's Mountain, which is a little way from here. And it's quite a structure. Oh, I just lost my pack, so I'll take you around. As you can see, that would have been a sleeping platform up there. And then you go into the barn itself. I'm sure people would have set up their tents in here. And then there would have been access up into the roof space, but unfortunately you can't get up there anymore. So it's a shame they haven't restored this. In fact, there's a message just here that says exactly that. How's that for a view for the morning? So I'm going to push on a couple of miles over Little Hump Mountain, which is about up there, and then I think that's Big Hump over there, and the tent site I'm after is just on the other side, about 2 miles. Here's a great view looking back at what I've done today. That's Rowan Mountain. Then you've got Round Bald, Jane Bald and Grassy Ridge Bald. And then come down and there's Over Mountain Shelter. That's pretty cool. There's our first look at the peak of Little Hump. It's about 0.4 up there, and then another, I think 0.4 or less the other side to the campsite. Here's the view from the top of Little Hump. And there's Big Hump, which is the next one we're going up. But if this campsite's decent, then that'll be the first thing in the morning. It's coming down off Little Hump, and this is the little side trail through the trees that brings you out here. And quite a few good tent sites here, and first again, but that's nice. All these are nice. Right, let's scout out the area and see where I'm going to set up. Wrap up for day 36. I've been here an hour and no one's turned up. I don't even think anyone's walked past, but I've been in my tent for a while, so they could have. Did 15, pleased with that. And coming over Little Hump at the end means that I've just got an easy 7 miles into the station at 19E. I texted them earlier and reserved a bunk, so we're all set there, so I should be there for lunchtime. So I'm really looking forward to that, because they've got their own bar and restaurant, so I should be able to just walk in, maybe get a quick shower and then something to eat. It's been a beautiful day and beautiful hiking. Even the big climb first thing in the morning wasn't that bad, and then just this afternoon just been rolling ups and downs, nothing too bad. So yeah, good day. Looking forward to tomorrow. I'll get back to you then. All right.